So today is December the 5th, and this is the mead that I bottled back in September. As you can see, it's clarified significantly since the last time I photographed this. I will say this, a couple things, that I think the yeast fermented pretty cleanly. However, I'm going to be doing this mead over again a second time and hopefully correcting some of the mistakes I made last time. One thing I have noticed about this one, it tastes a little bit medicinal. I think that's the result not necessarily of contamination, but of rather hot fermentation temperature. I made this during a heat wave. It was fermenting upwards of 85 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, even for a very tolerant yeast strain, is a little bit high. You're going to get some off flavors. Right now, inside my house, it's closer to around 65 degrees, and in the cooler spots, more like 55 to 60. That's about where I'm going to try to ferment this one. Just like last time, I'm using 12 pounds of honey. I'm also using yeast nutrient and yeast energizer. However, I am changing up the yeast. This time I'm using Cote de Blanc, Red Star. Last time I used the Premier Cuvée. This is another thing that I'm doing differently from last time. I'm pre-boiling the water before I add the honey. Last time I boiled the water with the honey. However, an expert mead maker, Michael Fairbrother, told me that this can result in kind of a stale tasting mead. I didn't really notice much of a problem in the mead that I made. However, I just want to see what the difference is going to be. So I'm going to boil this for 15 minutes because I am using well water, so I want to make sure that I boil any possible contaminants out of there. I'm going to let it cool for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to add the honey when it's not boiling. So this is 3 days later. Each day after you pitch the yeast, you should actually oxygenate the wort. You want to drive out some of the CO2 just using a spoon like this, stirring spoon. And then you want to add about a tablespoon, or about a teaspoon actually, of a yeast nutrient and yeast energizer mixture. So that's what we're going to do now. Use the sponge here, which I keep about a quart of sanitizer on hand. One thing you want to be careful of when you're doing this is not to stir it too vigorously. The CO2 really foams up pretty quickly, as you can see. As you can see, I'm stirring this. This has been about 4 or 5 minutes. It's getting a little bit less fizzy. It means most of the CO2 is working out. And now I'm going to pitch or throw in some of the yeast nutrient.